Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Elevating the Soul. This time, we're going to take a step back from the light that we long crave for and be introduced to some of the forces that are directly responsible for blocking us and preventing us from reaching our spiritual purpose. They are described in so many cultures and religions as forces of evil, as forces of fear and horror and punishment. The Catholics would name it the devil, and so other religions as well. In New Age terms, we will call these type of energies the ego. Some solely believe in demons and destructive angels and bad spirits. Every culture looks at the same phenomenon and just describe it in their own terminology according to their understanding, according to what they were taught. But often I get asked, are these forces real? Is everything that's happening in our lives, even when we realize our soul journey and we surrender to whatever is coming, is it all up to us? Is it all up to our decisions? How we manifest the next stage? Ultimately, the answer is always going to be yes. But at times we will face challenges that are not a direct result of a bad choice that we made, rather challenges for opposite forces that are just as spiritual and powerful as the forces of light. They were created together. In fact, during creation, it was light that came after to overcome darkness. So, since the beginning, these forces, I call them the shadows. Today I picked a term that I'm familiar with, which is in Aramaic. It's in they teach it in Kabbalah as well, which is ancient Hebrew, which is really excluded from religion. It's Jewish spirituality. It's Jewish mysticism, if you would. It's really all about manifestations and soul, and all these beautiful things are really are not limited or limiting. And there's a term. The term in Aramaic is called the Sitra Achara, which simply translated to the other side. And I'm not talking about the other side of this life, meaning where our soul heading to, the afterlife or heaven, if you would, but other side in this world. See, when I talk about it, I always get goosebumps because a lot of people don't like to speak about these things, and in one way I can understand why, because there's a huge chance that we can manifest and kind of welcome and open a portal, just like we do with prayers, just what we do with positivity, with intuition, with connecting to ourselves, with kindness. We open portals to unlimited amount of light, to abundance of light to just come our way and through us. But when we talk about spiritual energies that are also spiritual, and they are from the other side, from the Sitra Achara, like I told you, then we can manifest challenging things that, these are the forces that the soul is usually having a hard time dealing with. When we are, dealing with rules and the body, and we know that if we commit a crime, it's going to cost us our freedom, and it's going to cost us whatever punishment. So we avoid, and, we don't need, I mean, there's no really a big spiritual, a big spiritual force that made us avoid that, and we just know better not to get ourselves in trouble. So spiritually speaking, imagine something that gets you really, really angry, or something is done, or something you witness. And we all, as human beings, we face situations. The best thing is to avoid situations that are going to cause us anger. But if you ever wondered, where's that anger coming from? What is that in us that makes us completely out of control when it comes to our anger, or when it comes to any negative reaction? What is that force that make us take make the bad choice, knowing that we are making the bad choice? Where is it that we get the energies to, for example, hurt another person or do anything like that? So back to the other side, to the Sitra Achara. So that's a realm that's existing in our world. It's like a reflection. It's like a puddle. You can look at a puddle and see yourself in a reflection. So if you could see, and I had a chance through my spiritual awakening myself uh, to witness those shadows, as I call them. It's just fast moving shadows. So these are energies. They're not necessarily a product of our manifestation or something we did, or rather they're there to try to block us from who we are. And it's almost like they're there to make the trial genuine. The struggle is real with them. Many times we live in life and we have some deep issues and some unsolved problems, and a lot of it is involving relationship with close people or bad choices. Some people will make some bad mistakes, and they pay for it, and they just can never recover, and they have that guilt. And all these energies are not necessarily something that we manifest. Okay, when war starts, like I'm in a war zone right now, as you know, and a lot of innocent people lose their lives, and some of them are not directly involved in the war, nor wanted the war, or happy with the war. But it's like these energies are coming and knocking on their doors and finding them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call it evil so you can praise good more and make good looks bigger, which is the purpose, then call it on its name. A lot of people in spirituality, because they focus on people's spiritual growth, they will always aim towards the positive side of spirituality. And it's great. People need those tools. People need to know how to grow in spirit. But at the same time, people also need to know what they're about to face in that journey, so they can recognize what attacks them, what scares them, what limits them, if you thought about it. So we're going to speak about the other side, the Sitra Achara, which is a fascinating subject. Like I told you, almost all religions, all beliefs, all cults, everybody in their own way talk about it. And again, I'm doing this webinar because I was asked so many times in emails and questions, like, you talk about the idea of ghosts and demons and bad energies and angels and demonic stuff. And again, it's better not to talk about it until we have to face it, or somebody who we love or care about needs help with that. it's most of the time better not to talk about it. And simply, again, I'm giving you advice for the sake of manifestation. You know, I've encountered that spiritual energy, that spiritual evil, so many times in my life. It's almost like you know the enemy, you know what you're facing, you know how it can hurt you, you know how no matter how strong you think you are, as long as you are locked in this physical body, it's always going to be stronger than you until the time of your spiritual awakening comes and you're awakening from that slumber and you can fight back, you can go over that. So it's really important to know when people talking about either the ego and here's my problem with the word ego, because a lot of people understands ego differently. They kind of tend to think it's something between us and ourselves and things we need to work on ourselves, which is true, but it doesn't, it's not really a powerful enough word to describe these energies that can tamper with our spiritual growth. See, nothing physical can tamper with your spiritual growth. For example, if you love somebody, if you meet the love of your life, nothing can stop you from wanting to see the love of your life. Even if you need to travel, some people, 7 days via boats and planes and trains and walking. When we want something from our soul, like nothing really physical can stop us or should stop us. But when there are forces that have the ability, that have the way into our soul to try to stop us from growing spiritually, this is the real test in life. A lot of the time, these forces attack us, and we think we're the problem. And people will come and talk to me in sessions. They're telling me they're feeling stuck. They're doing everything right, but nothing's happening, or they can't get over a certain fear, or they think something is wrong with their spiritual awakening process. And then I said, no, silly. When you feel stuck, and it's not because of you, and you're aware that you are spiritually stuck, it means that you are tangled in the shadows. You are now fighting a spiritual battle, fighting an enemy that's not necessarily you, but you're fighting opposing energies that are trying to distract you. It's almost like they'll wrap your eyes with these shadows. If I can see it in my eyes right now, in my imagination, close your eyes and imagine there's just circles of shadows flying around your eyes until you're blocked from your own inner light. And this is exactly its purpose. And it can only do it to us on this earth, nowhere else. So when you are able to beat those shadows, or at least to make sure to keep them away from your life, you can only see the light, and people will see the light in you. You'll be an enlightened soul. So let's start about the Sitra Achara, which is the other side in Aramaic. If some of you do follow religion, these were from Jesus's time, and that's what they spoke in biblical Israel, where I'm talking to you right now. So they believed in this power. I mean, this is a serious thing. You can even Google that name after that if you want to see what that means. But once you know that we coexist with beautiful abundance from above, like we have this umbilical cord of light to connect to our higher selves, and that gives us strength to wake up every morning, strength to say I'm sorry at times, strength to get better, to change, to enlighten, to wise up. All these beautiful, to love, to cherish, to appreciate, and I can go on and on and on of things that this amazing light. And again, I'm talking to you in spiritual terms only. We are light that accepting light from above as well. The more we are aware, the more we awake to this existence of that light, this beautiful source of light that is above, the better it is, and the faster that we are um, are trained, quote unquote, to deal with anything this life has to offer. But at the same time, we have to know that in this world, there's also a spiritual dimension called the other side, where a lot of things that sometimes we don't know, where's evil coming from? Why do people do this? We're all souls, but what makes a person do that? What got into a person? And then when we don't know, like we can, if we watch something very terrifying news on TV that people do to other people, then we tend to call these people like, oh, they're monsters. They're not even people. We just think about something scary, and you know what? We're really saying what our soul is telling us to say. It is true. The evil here is something that is supposed to be opposing energy, and the higher we are in consciousness, the more good and kind and spiritual we are, the evil is going to be more evil. It's going to manifest itself in a more evil way. If we're just like, okay, living life, we don't even know if there is a life after death or not, we're just bodies, we're enjoying ourselves, why would the other side spend time on us? There's nothing to convince. I mean, maybe here and there make us make some bad choices in life, but to those who are enlightened, to those who are old souls, to those who are spiritual and have consciousness, then we deal with other type beasts, and that's what they are. So don't be afraid. I mean, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something that people in the spiritual world should talk about more. I mean, a lot of people are thinking it is something that it's not real. Excuse me, because we're all light and stuff. Yes, we are when we are in our natural environment, but on this earth, this is a spiritual battlefield. There's lots and lots and lots of good elements. There are lots and lots and lots of bad elements. That's why we have a free choice. So let's start. So the Sitra Achara refers to the other side, a realm of spiritual opposition to holiness and goodness. Like I told you, it's a realm, it's a spiritual realm inside our physical realm. That's why sometimes when people feel like they hear ghosts or things break, or they do the Ouija board, or they do whatever they do, science, all these things, they're trying to connect not to something on the other side, but something in the inside of our world. There's a realm called the other side, and a lot of people, unfortunately, do a lot of things and they can manifest it. And it's not good and recommended to manifest it. We want to go towards the light and the love. But here I'm telling you that so I can hopefully enlighten you to explain some things that are happening in your life and how you can get rid of them. So this broadcast is, though it's a live broadcast, it's pre-recorded. So if you write something, a question, a comment, I promise to try to get back with you after this. So don't think I ignore you. Please don't think I ignore you. So it's really important, and I'm glad you guys are here. So if you can, you share this video only if you want to. If you want to share light, you share this video. If not, that's totally okay. You do what your soul tells you to do. So the Sitra Achara again refers to the other side, a realm of spiritual opposition to holiness and goodness. Okay, so it's an opposition. So if everything is holy and good and just, and then you have something that is completely opposite, so something that it's unholy and bad, right? So this is where we have to be very careful, especially the higher we get in spirituality, the other entities from that other side we're going to face. And again, it's all spiritually speaking, it's all metaphysical, but yet it affects our lives and manifests itself to things in life. It's associated, excuse me, with forces that create obstacles and temptations against spiritual growth. So like I told you, when these forces attack us, it's not due to punishment or because we are unholy. Some people, a lot of people in movies, when they talk about demonic possessions and stuff like that, which is something that I'm really familiar with myself personally, they talk about somebody, a soul that wasn't pure enough or was punished, and then the spirit. No. When we face evil as souls, that means that we just have to confront a force that's supposed to prevent us from finding the light, finding spiritual growth, and it does it with obstacles and temptations. Okay, different temptations to, because those energies, the other side, the Sitra Achara, okay, knows our soul contract. We in the body, we tend not to know. We want to know, but we tend not to know our soul contract. We live day by day. Our soul knows our soul contract, and these other side forces know our soul contract. Therefore, it got an advantage on us on how to attack us spiritually, of course, and place obstacles and temptations against our growth. Spiritual implications of Sitra Achara. So Sitra, that's a short of Sitra Achara, represents energies and entities opposing divine light. So listen to this, it's really important what I wanted to write here when I wrote this for you. It represents not only energies, okay, so it's not only bad, negative, or opposite, I call them energies of good, but also entities. Just like we have angels that are here to save and cure and guide, we have angels from the other side who's supposed to do other things. You know, people sometimes don't understand unexplained accidents, and yeah, we are saved, but we have to also look at what caused it. A lot of people are focusing on a miracle, but not focusing on the what caused the almost accident. You know, so it's a spiritual battle, ladies and gentlemen, and it's, you know, if I talk about things and if I can resonate with everything I talk spirituality, I resonate with this subject because once you know what to confront, you really have no more question marks when it comes to your growth. So it's entities also opposing divine light. If you watch this broadcast after it was already, or while it's going live, you can wait till the end of it, rewind and watch the whole thing again. It's really important tool for your soul, trust me. So I'll continue about it. It represents negative inclination, desires, and influence that distract from spiritual elevation and soul connection. So it's the same thing. So these forces really prevent us. So if we don't understand why we can't elevate spiritually, so what are the influences that cause us to not want to elevate? Like we have to look at everything, and this is where the other side energies are going in because it knows us. It knows us just almost just as good as our soul knows us. Our soul knows us for eternity because we are the soul. It's our essence. The Sitra Achara knows us from before, while we're in the womb, before we come to this world. It's prepared for us. So that's what it does, trying to block us from spiritual growth. Okay? Influence on the soul. So the Sitra Achara influences the soul by promoting doubts, desires of self, gratification, and negative thoughts. So a lot of people sometimes talk to me and they don't believe in themselves. They have doubt in what they do. They have doubt in their feelings. They have doubts in their spiritual growth, which is very bad. And they don't understand why. A lot of them know who they are. They know how special they are spiritually, but they're still facing doubt. A lot of us, thankfully not me, but a lot of us worry about the future. We have doubts about whether it's going to be good or bad. We have negative thoughts. Very bad. Very bad to feel bad or sad or feel bad for yourself or have these negative thoughts. And then when you tell people to stop feeling them, what do we always answer? It's out of my control. Not my fault. I didn't plan it. It took over me. Something got into me, right? You know the feeling how we really describe it? That something got into me and I got angry. Something got into me and I didn't see good from bad. This is the Sitra Achara. This is the other side. These are the entities and the forces. Okay? It's like a spiritual battleground, like I told you, it is. This whole life is a spiritual battleground where darker energies aim to obscure the soul's connection to divine light. This is the real fight. We think the fight is whether we are kind to people or not kind to people, whether we are, have self-awareness that we are a soul, we're not. All these things are parts of spiritual growth. They're not the biggest part. The biggest part, well, a lot of people say, well, to defeat the ego. What is ego? Well, ego is the need to receive over the need to give. But what drives the ego? What forces make the ego be ego? What forces make the ego powerful? What forces cause the ego to manifest itself in so many shapes and forms and situations in our life? Have you ever thought about it? It's the other side. It's the other side. The other side only exists in this physical realm and in the spiritual form, so we can see it, so we can notice it. No, fear is unseen, it's invisible. Fear is a feeling, but yet it's very vivid in our head. Have you ever thought why? Because the other side entities are in charge of implementing fear in our hearts and brains. So it's a spiritual battleground, okay? And darker energies, and they're dark, and they're strong, and they know us. We don't know them unless we're connected to our soul, but they know us. They stop us, they obscure the soul connection to divine light. And that's what people ask me specifically, and it is a thing. I'm talking on my experience, personal behalf, so I don't have to explain myself. But of course, there are demons. Demons are the other spiritual entities that come from the other side. Now we can argue if these demons are evil, these demons are here to punish, or these demons are just doing their angelic role. And I say they're doing their angelic role. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And if we let fear take over us, then they did their job. But that's what they're trying to do. Demons and temptations, especially temptations, guys. Every day we have ways to practice temptations. Even when we decide to diet and we just open the fridge and there's something really yummy and we want to break the diet, that's a temptation. It doesn't have to be necessarily a bad physical or a bad thing or negative thing, but temptation can be in so many ways and forms. Sometimes we want to open our mouth to something we hear. We tend to open our mouth and then we don't. So all these forces that are fighting, it's like almost us fighting ourselves, are from the other side, from the Sitra Achara. So demons and temptations, Sitra Achara is linked to force like demons or negative energies that try to sway individual towards selfishness. So selfishness is really, really bad. When we're all about ourselves, that means we are tied behind those shadows. And every time I talk about it, I feel like my whole body is itching and tickling and shivering because I'm probably manifesting what I'm talking about because I mean what I say and I see it in my head. Manifesting meaning seeing the picture and knowing it and let your soul really visual it and then you manifest it. So, but I'm still doing it because I really want you to be aware. I really want you to be aware not to have selfishness, just be selfless kindness person. Don't be materialistic and don't do any ego-driven actions. Not because it serves you, it needs to serve a purpose, not you. So every time you do something in life, think, does it serve me or does it serve a higher purpose? Always go with the higher purpose. Okay, so it's veiling spiritual quality. So what it does is just like I told you, it's shadows, and I see them sometimes spinning around your eyes, blocking you from who you really are. Recognizing Sitra Acharas, again, the other side presence in daily life because it attacks us every day, all day, with almost every debate we have in our heart and soul. So choose to fight well and find the light and turn your back into the Sitra Achara and never your face. So again, recognizing Sitra Achara's presence in daily life. Sitra Achara might show up through negative emotions. Remember, we talk about the difference between emotions and feelings. Emotions are feelings of the soul, knowledge, consciousness, intuition of the soul. So make sure you don't have negative emotions. So even if you had a little not okay day at work, leave it at work. Don't let it consume you. Let only love and light and hope consume you. Because once you let the other side, the Sitra Achara entities, into your emotions, they can tie up your soul in shadows for so long and so much, and then you cannot see the light, and then it will reflect, it will manifest itself in people, the people that have addiction, people that really don't care about their lives, people that really, mentally, completely mentally ill with no cure, because it's a soul problem. It's not, unfortunately, it's not a medical problem, even though people are just under control medically. That's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving advice. But in my opinion, and I used to work in a correctional center as a correctional officer, and some of my duties were in the mental ward in the correctional center. And I've seen some cases that I'm telling you, this is not a physical case. These were all spiritual entities. And oh, by God, that you can smell the spirituality there. But that's for another life. So its presence in daily life, Akasi chakra might show up through negative emotions, temptations, or situations that challenge our ethical and spiritual compass. Okay, so exactly that. If we confront somebody who say something we don't mean, what's the saying? I said something I wasn't supposed to say. Oh, I don't want to say something I don't mean. Because obviously our soul don't mean to say anything negative, but these are the forces that we have no control over. We do have control over, but a lot of people lose the battle before they even start it. So no, it's all coming from that dimension. Again, that dimension is not out there in the afterlife. We don't meet it when we pass. We meet it here. This is the battleground. And that's why I tell people, don't do them Ouija boards and stuff like that, because you're not just playing. I mean, you're literally open portals that are not even that hard to open. Okay, they open nightly when we go to sleep and dream. So it's a reality within this world, but it's spiritual, just like a mirror. So, and again, and it aims to divert from path of kindness, compassion, and spiritual fulfillment. So these other side forces, the Sitra Achara, okay, demons, if you would, they don't they're not here to kill us, okay? Like people watching horror movies, like demons or monsters, they're supposed to just devour us and bite us and scare us. No, they do worse. They do it to our soul. They're trying to intimidate and scare our soul from fulfilling its mission, and it does it with a lot of bad spiritual energies that are powerful enough that our soul really not feeling comfortable around. So it aims to divert from past. So like you have the soul journey and the life journey, like I always tell you, almost in every life. So your soul journey is where you're supposed to go, and it takes you to the other journeys, so you feel lost and disconnected from what you're supposed to do in life. And also, path of kindness, a lot of people feel selfish. Selfishness, we talked about it. That's the other side, the evil forces that want people to be selfish, because when people are selfish and don't practice kindness, they don't share light with the world, and we lose the interconnectedness, compassion, and spiritual fulfillment. So, guys, like I said, it's a live broadcast, but it's pre-recorded, so I won't be able to read comments live if there are any. But please watch this video. Know that it's okay to talk about the other side. See, I even got the atmosphere here, so yes, there are dark sides in this consciousness, and our soul needs to know how to navigate through these obstacles, not see them through evil eyes, not see them through punishment, not feel guilty or sad or afraid when they come, but be brave, be enlightened, and know that we are a soul for a reason. We're divine, and there's nothing that we cannot overcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you like it, please share this video so more and more souls can know not to be afraid. That was my broadcast about the other side. So thank you. Good night, good day, wherever you are. God bless. May you have a